Welcome to the Legal Insight Podcast by HHQ. It's the new year and it's a new season. We're stepping into season 3, and that's remarkable because we've never imagined starting a podcast and running it for 3 seasons. 2 years of conversations over law, technology, and business, and many early mornings, many late nights writing scripts, and a genuine commitment by the team behind this podcast to raise the standards of legal and technology conversations and discourse in Malaysia. Now, this new season will be stronger than ever before, with even sharper content, refined editing, some better audio, better backgrounds soon, hopefully. And more importantly, our lineup of guests this season is genuinely exciting. There are people who are shaping the industry's standards and landscape in the market. To kick off the year on an exceptionally strong note, we are joined by our guests, Ong Johnson, Head of Technology Practice Group, and Khai, the Co-Head of Technology Practice Group at HHQ. Welcome to the show, guys.
Good to see you, Zach. Always happy to see you.
Happy New Year, Zach.
Happy New Year. And if you see a new guest today, his name is Vincent Yeo, Co-Founder of PeerHive, CEO and Co-Founder of PeerHive, joining us for our first ever CEO Exchange series. PeerHive is one of the only 6 companies selected by the Security Commissions Malaysia to join the first ever cohort of the regulatory sandbox. And trust me, this CEO Exchange series will be groundbreaking. We're diving into something most people have never heard of, DeFi P2P. And PeerHive is the first platform in Malaysia to build a DeFi-powered P2P model on blockchain with full smart contract execution and tokenized loan transactions, all structured and advised by none other than Johnson and Khai from End to End. Now, this is not an episode you want to miss, and because the subject is quite dense and highly technical, we are splitting it into 2 episodes. Today, in episode 30, we'll unpack 3 things: what DeFi P2P actually is, and whether it is really a revolutionary product, and how it differs from traditional P2P model. And in the next episode, we'll dive in deeper into the SC sandbox process, how it works, the significance of it, and what it means for future of the fintech and blockchain regulation. With that, let's begin our CEO Exchange series. First of all, Vincent, Happy New Year and congratulations on PeerHive being selected as one of the 6 companies for SC's first ever SC Sandbox cohort. It created waves across the fintech world, of course. And when the news broke, it practically shook the LinkedIn feeds of every fintech professionals that we know. Now, for the listeners out there who may not be fully familiar with you, why don't you introduce yourself, introduce PeerHive, why you started it, and what your company represents?
Thanks for having me, Zach. It's been a very busy moment for everyone, especially across December, right? Everyone's just having vacation. Then SC broke their news during that time. I'm Vincent. I'm Vincent Yeo, the co-founder and CEO for PeerHive. PeerHive is actually an alternative financing platform for SMEs to address the very huge financing gap within the Asia Pacific region, right? So what we do is that we help SME to raise funds in the blockchain ecosystem, bridging that gap between the real world economies as well as the blockchain economy in this case. So how does that work is that we provide short-term financing towards the SMEs from what you look at manufacturing, logistics, as well as in the bakery, like your mom and pop shop down the road. So with the region opening up to the usage of stablecoins among the SMEs, right, we allow our clients to use our platform to raise debt financing using stablecoins, which can be used to settle their counterparts overseas, like in Vietnam. This can drastically reduce their financing costs down the road. We are looking at least 20 to 30% decrease in their financing costs.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's amazing. Now, Vincent, I need to ask, you mentioned about being on holiday and then suddenly SC broke the news. Were you actually on holiday when SC broke the news? And how did you feel the moment you found out that your company was selected? Did you already kind of expected it, or was it a surprise? And perhaps you can walk us through the moment you received the news.
I was technically not on holiday mode. We were just laying low and then trying to build the product up back 3 years ago. And back in 2022. From there on, we just keep on working between me and my team. When the news broke, Johnson approached me and said, "Bro, you just got approved by SC." I was like, Out of nowhere, I was like, huh? Okay, time to get more work done, right? Then follows a lot of congratulatory message from our peers and even from the fintech communities as well. I wouldn't want to say it's a broke the internet, because a lot of things broke internet during that time period as well. That afternoon, when the emotion settles down, right, the internal team, everyone sit down and have a discussion and how we want to align the internal target to sync with the Securities Commission operational roadmap as well. That's why right now we are developing the testing plan as we speak. But as soon as we realize that this is also meant to be, we must expand our headcount.
Yeah, of course.
That's why we're really going full scale in terms of our fundraising process as well. Looking at local VCs as well as foreign VCs as well.
Wow, look at that. So you're clearly a very driven and hardworking CEO working through the holidays.
There's no break for startups, companies.
Certainly no break at all.
Yeah,
And even after the news broke, were there any champagne popping or celebration? Or just straight back into work?
Startup need to save cost. Correct. Not pop champagne.
the work even harder now.
Yeah. Now, Johnson, let's move into the more technical and legal dimension of this, this news.
Yeah.
DeFi P2P is completely new in Malaysia, and frankly, only a handful of people globally have ever analyzed this model, deeper. Now, before we go further, well, congratulations! Also, new year, new achievements,
award.
new awards. Congratulations of being recognized as a Band 1 FinTech lawyer in the Chambers FinTech Guide 2026, and to your department, both Johnson, Khai, and the team back in the firm for securing Band 2 this year in the FinTech Guide 2026. Now that is extraordinary. On top of all the good news that you've posted on LinkedIn, right? Launching a book, getting don't know how many awards, starting your lecturing series. Now, from your vantage point, and given that you've structured Malaysia's first DeFi P2P model, what makes this so fundamentally different? P2P financing, of course, is not new, right?
Yeah.
But DeFi P2P certainly is. Now, how does it actually work? And since your team has already played a central role in shaping its legal structure, could you just unpack it for us from a legal and structural point of view?
Yes, definitely. Very happy to. Happy New Year to you.
Thanks. Thank you.
And I like your specs.
Yeah, that's
nice.
my only award this year.
Okay, rose
New
gold.
glasses. Rose gold, yeah.
I like the color.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the topic. I think that you're absolutely right by saying that P2P is nothing new in Malaysia. Not only Malaysia, globally. I think that most of the listeners here, they should have a good understanding of what P2P is. So just from a very high level perspective, P2P is just another form of fundraising activities that in Malaysia is strictly governed by SEC. And then what is really special about DeFi P2P, that is something new. To be honest, I may be biased, but I personally think that DeFi P2P is something that is really going to change finance. And why is it so? Because DeFi P2P is essentially transforming how P2P is going to be operated in the future. The reason because P2P is a very traditional business that have been operating for many, many years. And right now, with the evolution of technology, especially the introductions of blockchain technology, we are able to actually empower the entire operations of P2P by hosting it on blockchains. So in other words, what are we talking now is actually smart contract and codes and algorithm and stablecoin and blockchains. Because of the technology that we have right now in this 2026, so what are we seeing is we believe that PeerHive or any DeFi P2P company, they are able to actually replace the traditional trustee with the concept called smart contract. So in other words, the entire operations, we are able to replace and empower using smart contract and blockchain and stablecoin. So with that, what does it mean? From a very practical and corporate perspective, it means that we are able to remove the middle layer intermediaries. It means that I do not need trustee anymore. I'm able to actually replace trustee with the concept of smart contract. And then this will be directly or indirectly translated to better cost efficiency, better capital efficiency. I can reduce costs, and at the same time, for the investor, they're able to get even higher returns. And that is going to be a big win for everyone. And the beauty of DeFi P2P is, from a user perspective, to be honest, when you're using it, it feels exactly like traditional P2P, except the underlying technology is powered by blockchain. So that is the future of finance, to be honest. Everyone, they are still able to access the exactly same products, except that it's going to be a lot more effective, a lot more efficient, and most importantly, is a technology that is going to advance and benefit everyone.
Now, Khai, building on Johnson's perspective, one of the more striking things I heard him mention just now was that DeFi P2P operates on blockchain. It is powered by smart contract.
Yep.
And more notably, it operates without a trustee. Now, to
yes.
most people, that sounds almost counterintuitive, right? For the benefits of our listeners out there, could you walk us through what are the strongest commercial advantages that DeFi P2P offers compared to our traditional P2P?
Yeah. Thanks, Zach. So essentially, if you think about DeFi P2P, do with the fact that you're removing the middle layer, you are removing a middle person. So you get rid of the middle person. We have heard about this argument many times before, especially when it comes to blockchain-based products, things that are powered by blockchain, by smart contract. Whenever you remove one layer in the whole ecosystem, what does it mean? You don't have to pay the cost or the fees of that particular middle person. So naturally, it will drive the cost down, right? You get in DeFi P2P, you get rid of the trustee. You no longer have to pay administrative fees. You no longer have to pay the cost of the trustee. Naturally, that brings your overall lending cost lower. And that also translates to better efficiency as well. Because without a middle layer, let's say initially you are functioning on 3 layers, 3 different parties need to perform certain things. But now one layer has actually been removed. And that means administratively, process-wise, only 2 parties need to perform tasks and perform things. So that makes things faster as well. So these are the 2 first commercial advantages. The third one, I would say, is essentially the beauty of smart contract. Smart contract, as we have covered many times in our previous podcasts, I think our our listeners would have heard us parroting about this many times, right? Smart contracts, at the end of the day, they're just lines of codes. They're just programs. So programs, the beauty of it is, as long as a person is creative, smart contract can be programmed in any way that you want. So you can introduce many features in this case into a P2P platform, a P2P model, tranching, varying interest rates, automatic liquidation. As long as you can think of it, the programmer and an engineer in this case, they are well-versed and skillful enough to code it and write the code in whatever way that you want, you'll be able to do amazing things. So to me, I think these are the 3 strongest commercial advantages of DeFi P2P that I believe will break the whole P2P system.
Right. So to our listeners out there who are actually trustees, maybe it's time to get into the P2P, DeFi P2P business, right? Now, my next question is to Vincent. We all understand that Rome wasn't built, in a day, and PeerHive wasn't built, in a month. Now, you reached out to Johnson on LinkedIn back in 2024, and now this is even before SC's sandbox framework was properly in place. Now, when did this idea hatch, and what inspired you to take a radical step for something, that could potentially, change how financing works?
The idea starts quite early, back in 2022. After a late night discussion with one of our clients back then when I was doing another business, doing service rendering. After that, it just clicked to me is that the crypto economy that we are looking right now is very speculative in nature. People are just like trading between each other. It's a zero-sum game after all.
Of course.
Then we look into it is that it lacks the element of creating new wealth, or what we call as improving the economies. So from there on, I speak with my co-founder, Kiru, who is the current CTO for the company. He's just like very newbie. He don't even understand what is P2P back then. Just that he has the talent in the technology building. I told him, just nice, ChatGPT came out during the same time period, 2022. He copy and paste everything, chuck it into a ChatGPT, then the idea clicks to him. So from there on, we ask ourselves, instead of letting all this value that sit in the speculative nature of the crypto economy, like tradings and all that, right? Why not put it useful? And in some way let the investors get in return a fixed return. That's not that is quite healthy, and it can grow the economy from there on.
Of course.
And from what we see, right, Asia Pacific SMEs are having a very huge financing gap. The financing gap we are talking about in the trillions of dollars, right? So from there on, if we are able to channel like let's say 10% of this liquidity from the crypto economy, right now it's roughly around in the hundreds of billion, that even 10% of it, it can leverage the entire economy up, grow the entire GDP of the region by at least 10x from there on. And yeah, it also aligns with the long-term goal of the current government as well, that to empower and lifting the community out of poverty. Yep, that's how we want to do it.
Thanks, Vincent. So it took you almost 3 years from the conception of the idea and to now, being approved in the sandbox. Now, the $1 million question, every revolutionary idea begins with crazy and with blockchain, DeFi, and crypto. And many of the members of public still associate this whole space with the Wild Wild West, Ponzi structures. Do you believe that Malaysians will genuinely adopt a DeFi-powered financing product widely? And what gives you the confidence to start this thing, that the public perception will shift, especially when people have this idea that when it comes to crypto, there is always a lack of so-called legal protection?
Okay, I will ask a question to all you guys. Would you stay in a stranger's house 15 years ago?
No way. No way.
No way.
It's not possible. My mom said no.
Yeah, that's the Asian
Yeah,
perspective,
my
right?
mom told me no.
So yeah, but right now Airbnb is normal already.
Yeah, true.
Although for the finance world, right, we are looking at it might take some time for the regulation to catch up, but we're trying to work together with the regulators in this case. Forge a better environment for all the players to work with. And that's why we always have this regulatory first approach. This approach is not just a novel idea. We got this approach back in 2023. During that time, the three co-founders having a first sit down with the SC was like, whoa, that is very impactful in some case. Okay? Yeah, then people don't adopt the technology because it's new or complicated. They adopt it because it solves real world problems better than the old ways. Like what I say, solving a trustee issue within the ecosystem.
Yeah.
But one thing that I want to point out is also it minimizes a lot of risk.
Yeah, of course.
In some cases, it can reduce a lot of settlement risk where the another party wouldn't deliver.
Yeah.
Goes through a smart contract and everything is delivered without us, PeerHive, touching the money at all.
Yeah.
So it's all code as the law.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why when we are building PeerHive, we are not asking people to speculate on crypto, but we are creating a bridge between SMEs that need financing as well as the investors that is looking for yield outside of the crypto economy.
Yeah.
Okay. All backed by transparent and immutable blockchain rule.
Yeah, that's the most important thing.
Yes. Over time, the public perception would shift.
Yeah.
And for every other disruptive innovation, trust is earned through regulations. Confidence is built through transparency. Adoption happens when people feel the real benefit of it.
Well put.
That's amazing.
Thank you. Now, Johnson, let's address what most people are already thinking right now, right? From a legal standpoint, we now have what Vincent mentioned just now, smart contracts executing all the obligations and effectively doing what humans or trustees have traditionally been doing.
Yeah.
Now, if everything is executed through smart contracts and recorded on the blockchain, where does legal protection sit? And how does consumer protection operate when execution is almost autonomous?
Yes.
It happens on chain. And how do you breach those two worlds, smart contracts and real world enforceable contracts, and not so smart contracts, right? Without compromising public confidence.
Yeah, I think that you are asking all the right questions. Because to be honest, a lot of time whenever any companies come to us by saying that they have whatever innovative ideas, the most important thing that we know, the moment we want to actually launch any products or to approach any form of regulators, be it SC, BNM, LFSA, the key or the most important part that we want to always take into account is investor protection. Because fundamentally, the moment you're launching any form of investment products, financial products, capital market products, people, they are going to actually pour their real money, their real saving into it. And the last thing you want is another crypto collapse that happens very frequently in the crypto world. So without going very deep into technicalities, you're absolutely right. DeFi P2P is entirely powered by smart contract. And as mentioned by Khai, smart contract is a term that is, I would say, is quite misleading. Some people, they think it's a contract, but smart contract is not contract. Smart contract is essentially codes. And then whether smart contract, are you able to actually bring smart contract to court to be enforced? And then lucky or not, as lawyers, the answer is it's going to be extremely difficult. So I would say that this is really the new world moving forward.
Wow, this is taking me back to year one of law school, right? Contract law,
Yeah.
whether there was consideration and whether it's enforceable.
Yeah.
Now, Khai, hearing Johnson describe the hybrid contracting model, it's clear that this touches, the outer boundaries of both fintech and DeFi regulation. But one concern pops into mind, right, is AMLA.
Yes.
And in the blockchain context, this question can be even sharper. How do you meaningfully address AMLA risk when the system is decentralized and transactions are executed again autonomously?
Yeah, this is also a question that whenever we go to the regulators, regulators will always harp on, in a sense, risk and also AMLA. How do you ensure that all these things are well looked after in a sense? So when it comes to DeFi P2P, even though, as you have pointed out just now, things are decentralized, but at the same time, they can be permission as well.
Yeah.
So what typically happens is, instead of, so smart contract, maybe let me rephrase it. Smart contract comes in at the execution part of the P2P model.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, it's not used when it comes to onboarding, when it comes to user onboarding, and when it comes to usage of the funds at the end of the day. So typically what we say is we shift AMLA upstream and downstream. So if you shift it upstream, what do? You actually are doing your KYC, or in this case, KYW, your know your wallet, at the point of onboarding users, onboarding investors onto the platform. So every single time anybody wants to join the so-called P2P community, they will have to submit their information to you. You will have to check that this is an actual person, a legit person, that this person is not from any sanctioned country, has not been on any sanction list before you can admit this person into the network for them to use your product. And at the end of the day, whoever that wants to raise fund through the P2P model will also have to go through the same process. You will have to verify their identity, that their business is actually legit. They're not, they have an actual product, or they have an actual service offering, and they're not going to use your money just for any illicit purposes or fund any illegal activities at all whatsoever. So typically, these are the actions. Of course, there are a lot of other creative ways of doing AMLA, but these shifting AMLA upstream and downstream is what we see to be the most adoptable, to be the most adopted way of doing AMLA.
Thanks, Khai. Now, a final question for Vincent. There are certainly many founders listening right now who want to build the next big thing in DeFi, and not just random cowboy projects, but genuinely regulated institution-grade products that can stand besides, established financial players. Now, if a founder is sitting right there in their couch and dreaming of joining the big boy league, like PeerHive, as you call it, and wants their DeFi ideas to be accepted by regulators, PE, VCs, and the public, what's your honest advice to these founders?
Honestly, we are not in the big boy league by even 100 miles away, right? So, what I would say is that to build a institutional grade DeFi, first you have to ask yourself, do you really need to be in the DeFi space? So, for PeerHive, right, we actually don't call ourselves DeFi because we have this permission layer where, like Khai said, we need to do KYC, KYB, on top of that KYT as well. So this is to comply with all the AMLA rules that we have in the market by SC and as well as Bank Negara. So first, look deep down. Does it really have to be a DeFi protocol?
Yeah.
If it doesn't have to be a DeFi protocol, if you look at a much more centralized version of your protocol, that's better. That's a good idea to go forward with.
Makes your life easier.
Very easy. Although DeFi give you space, give you time to grow a market faster, but ultimately you're not attracting the institutional crowd in this case. Especially in this year, we are expecting much more institutions to come on board to our platform and to other protocol as well. That's why the sandbox is also, SE is giving out sandbox to a lot of other startup in the ecosystem. Then another question is how meaningful is your product is to this to the public? Does it solve real and structural problem?
Yeah.
Does it make it cheaper, faster, or more transparent, or inclusive? If the impact is not clear, right? It's very hard to get the buy-in from the regulators or even from the institutional players. So
That's true. The purpose behind it. Yeah.
yes, even though your yield is very high, but it's not making a real world impact to it, they'll just say, hey, no. Yeah. So my advice is focus on this focus point, then to build on something that improve life and to strengthen the financial ecosystem that we have currently, not just build on it, strengthen the entire economy in this case. So one last thing I want to say is that don't cut corners.
It's very important.
Very important. Build the product so it can stand beside the banks and capital market player, not outside them. Bring them together.
Sage advice from Vincent. Thank you, gentlemen. This has been an excellent conversation. And Vincent, thank you for sharing the vision behind PeerHive and your vision for the financial industry as a whole. Now, Johnson and Khai, your insights into the legal architecture behind DeFi P2P is truly one of a kind because I've never heard of it before. And to everyone listening out there, stay tuned for the next episode. In episode 31, we'll go even deeper into the SC regulatory sandbox process, how it works, why it matters, and why this moment is actually significant for Malaysia's fintech landscape. We'll see you in the next episode of the CEO Exchange series in the Legal Insight podcast by HHQ. We'll see you next episode.